where is the team now? And what is their appetite for change? Are they open? Are they willing to change? Do they even see the need to change? And again,
how do you assess that?
Starts to change from we're going to do this because this new person came in and said we should do this to we're going to do this because we as a team think this is the right thing that we should do. And that helps with both change management, but it also helps because
how do you stay on top of all the promises that you're making early?
Unchurned is presented by UpdateAI.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Unchurned. It's a very special episode for multiple reasons. I've got Jenny here, Jenny Calvert, my co-host with the most, and I've used that on too many podcasts now. And we have a special guest, Larry Waldman. Larry, I don't even know the name of your company. I don't even know your title, but I know that I've played beer pong with you. I know that I've been to several conferences with you, that you know a ton about customer success, and that I want to learn about your new role, because this is the inaugural episode of talking to leaders, to like true leaders that have just joined new companies within the first 100 days, right? We're in our 100-day period here, post-election. So now we're doing this podcast, and we want to, really kind of showcase their background, like give them a platform to talk about themselves as if, to share with their whole company so that their company learns about them, their customers learn about them. They can share their principles and philosophies, and also maybe talk a little bit about what it's like, coming into the new org and priorities for the upcoming year, in this case being towards the start of 2025. So with that long intro, Larry Waldman, thank you so much for joining this episode.
Thanks, Josh. It's good to be back. And it's good to see Jenny again today, since this is now our second time on Riverside.
Okay, so you're starting immediately with the plug of your own thing. Go ahead. Go for it.
Totally.
Go.
Totally. Yeah. So I don't think actually it's been posted yet, but it will be. And I promise, Josh, we won't be in competition.
You're plugging a stealth. You're plugging a stealth project.
Yeah, a little bit.
Fuck you, Larry. Come on.
I know. Come on.
If you're gonna plug it, then plug it. Don't tease it.
I'm plugging it as our Success by Stage that we do with Carl Mandari, and we've already posted a few times. I think we did a little cross promotion when you had the three of us on.
Did.
Okay. All right. Good.
Summer.
Okay. So you can plug it. All right. Good.
So
okay.
All right. These are all positive cross promotional plugs.
Okay. And then you also have a podcast on music, right? Is that right?
And I do. Oh, that would be great if I could get a little promotion for that. Yes.
I mean, that's really your jam.
Hold on.
No pun intended.
Larry's promo hour. Let's let him get it all out. Yeah, what do you want to promote, Larry?
Might as well get it all out. Yes. With two of my friends, we have a not video podcast, not a podcast on customer success, but one about music. I didn't name it, but it is called Music Nerds Unite. And what we do is every podcast, we go through a year chronologically, and we do a draft of what we think are the best songs of that year. We debate it. Sometimes we make fun of each other's picks. We play the songs. And then occasionally Spotify sends us a nasty note telling us that we're not allowed to use the song. So, because God forbid Metallica would, lose out on a couple of pennies from the 30-second clip we use. So, but yes, I encourage you, if you like music and if you like hearing debates about music, you should go check it out. Good memory, Josh. Yeah. I'm surprised you remember that.
I listened to you. And in that podcast, Larry, do you also fidget with something in the background that makes small little clicking sounds for your podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that you're consistent.
Yes, I probably
one more hot seat question. I'm going in.
All
so
right.
if your new customer success org had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. So I've used this before, but I think the best theme song that any customer success team could use is No Surprises by Radiohead off of OK Computer, right? I mean, isn't that what we all aspire for? No surprises, right? You don't want any churn surprises. You don't want any organizational surprises. You don't want any customer or product surprises. You want to be able to execute your vision without having that. So that would be the theme song. Of course, it's a little dark, but just focus on the no surprises part. Don't focus on anything else.
Larry, I'm going to teleport to Long Island and rip that pen out of your hand. Thank you. Okay. Jenny, what would be your theme song?
My theme song?
Well, you're with Update. You're post sales with us here. You're running the show. So what's our post sales theme song for Update?
Can we create our own? That's called LFC.
Yes.
Okay.
I've already sworn in this episode, so let's fucking see.
Let's fucking see. That's our theme song.
Okay.
Not LFG?
Nope. C.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's intentional, but it's not about us. It's about you today, Larry.
Yeah. Mine would be no scrubs. I don't want no scrubs. That would be my theme song.
That is totally spot on for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Only 8 players. Okay. All right. We've gotten the banter out. You guys have done a very good job substituting for John and Christy in the banter aspect so far of this. Thank you for that. And so, Larry, I actually really don't know the name of your company. I really don't know your title. And so I would please tell us.
That's okay. I'm happy to. And part of that is because, as Jenny knows, I gave myself a self-imposed LinkedIn vacation where I intentionally didn't go on LinkedIn for probably about 2.5 months, other than very randomly. And I will tell you the name of the company and title, but let me tell you why. I feel as though whenever I go on LinkedIn, I see you, I see Jenny, I see Paul, I see Christy, I see a whole bunch of people whose ideas I really respect. But the way that the algorithm works, it consistently feeds me the same thing. And so I like it. I read it. I think about how it jives with my own philosophy about customer success and customer experience. And I started to wonder, am I making it so that I'm no longer having any original ideas? I'm only essentially synthesizing everyone else's stuff. So I said, I'm going to just stop. I'm not going to look at it for a couple of months. And it actually turned, it was supposed to be a month. It actually turned into a couple of months so that I could start thinking about things on my own, or at least take a breath and start thinking about all the great information and great ideas that my colleagues and peers and friends have had, and use that as a way to sort of rebuild what I've been thinking about, and maybe even re-examine some of that. So,
and did you enjoy it?
I did, because I'll get to it a little bit when we talk about what the first 100 days look like. So it did help me rethink some of the things that I've been thinking about within customer experience and customer success. It also was sort of a break, because after a while, it almost becomes part of your job, right? You feel compelled to either go on and put content out there, read content, and then figure out a way to take it and incorporate it into your own vision. And you read something, you're like, that is so on point. I really want to take this to my team. And then there's another one and another one and another one. And after a while, it's just overwhelming and you start to lose the plot.
Yeah.
So it definitely was worthwhile. I know you can't do that.
I hate LinkedIn. Jenny and I were talking about it earlier this week. I was in Mexico last weekend on vacation, and I'm reading this new book on the beach, and it's a great book, and I'm learning all these things, and I'm taking notes. But like the entire time I'm reading, I'm writing in the margins, oh, this is a LinkedIn post. Oh, this could be the first line of my hook post from this chapter. It's like, just freaking enjoy yourself, So
yeah.
I don't have Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I don't have this. I just I have LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is my social media. And I've tried, currently it's on my mobile phone. I have the app, but actually usually I don't have the app.
You took it off your mobile phone at one point.
I did for like a year, and it's on now, but I need to remove it, but it's bad. Okay. Anyway. So there's, So where do you work? What do you do?
All right. So I work for a company called GLMx. GLMx is a SaaS company in the capital market space. And what we do is we have software that helps traders in very specific markets. It automates and makes it significantly easier for them to be able to engage with one another. And it is in a space that for many, many years was not technology averse, but was very, very rudimentary in how they would engage with one another. So you would have two traders who wanted to work together. They might message each other on Bloomberg and negotiate back.
Same company or different buy-sell?
Two different companies. So one on the buy side, one on the sell side.
Okay.
And they might do that. And to be able to engage, it's time consuming, it's not efficient, and you don't have the ability to be able to scale. Our software gives you all of those things. It's extremely efficient. It makes it so that you can do multiple things and work with multiple counterparties at the same time. Yeah. And we are regulated, so you do have the security of knowing that you are able to trade effectively, efficiently, and be able to really improve your execution. So it's
GLNX.
M.
Okay.
Mary.
Okay. Because GLNX goes to site not found. So I'm glad that it's the M and not the N.
Yes. And you'll be glad to know I lifted my LinkedIn hiatus, and now I even updated.
for me, I do appreciate that.
For Josh.
Yeah,
exactly. And for other people too, but mostly for you, Josh.
Thank you.
And so I was brought in to lead our customer experience team. Our customer experience team are the ones who help optimize our users and clients' use of the system. They act as expert level support, and we do proactive engagement as well. So it is a mix of a lot of different things. The reason that GLMx asked me to work with them is that we are very much in a growth mode right now, and we are scaling. We've been around for a long time, but we are really, really picking up momentum and scale. Nice. And a lot of the things that we used to do, although extremely effective, aren't necessarily going to translate as we continue to grow. So
where are you in the life cycle, the company life cycle now? Startup, not startup, like right?
I would say we're in scale up mode.
Scale up mode.
Right
okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have had, it's an award-winning team that I'm fortunate enough to be able to join and lead. A lot of that, though, is due to the amazing work that the team does, but not necessarily because we're able to scale that, right? Like we have really, really knowledgeable, tenured individuals who work really hard to make sure we give our customers an amazing experience. And it is extremely gratifying. Like I will see messages from clients to our team literally every day saying things like, you don't understand how much our lives are better since we started working with GLMx because we've made them that much more effective and efficient, right? We've reduced time, we reduced inefficiencies. And yet when we continue to grow and add more and more clients, that same level of experience, we're not going to be able to do if we continue doing things the way that we are doing now, which is not bad. It's great. It's just not scalable.
Yeah. I have a whole bunch of questions that I've written down in advance, but Jenny, I don't want to just sit here and spitfire, rapid fire, whatever questions at Larry. So what do you got for Larry?
I think I'm hearing a lot of like change management and transformation, right? Especially like them bringing you in. So what is it in your past experiences in the work you've done in customer success that gets you like the most excited to do this work moving forward? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, it's a great question because it's one that I ask myself whenever I think about potentially making a change or joining a new place. And if I was to capture it in two different components, the things that I love the most are I love working with a team where I know the team is really good. It's really knowledgeable. They really understand our platform and they really understand our clients and what that connection between the two is. They also may not necessarily feel as though the rest of the organization understands that and even in some cases recognizes that. So being able to take that team, which I know has far better knowledge in our clients and our workflow and our platform than I will have, or certainly when I start out, and may not necessarily have some of that recognition about how they themselves fit into the overall structure of the company and help elevate them through process, through inspiration, through leadership, through structure, and sometimes through innovation. Those are the things that I gravitate to. Those are the things that I really love. And I don't think I realized that earlier on in my career or when I would take on some new roles. But then when you do it once or twice, you really start to recognize like that's either your superpower or at least what helps drive you. I mean, this might sound crazy because I have to wake up. We're in the capital markets. We start pretty early. So I have to wake up pretty early in the morning. But I do wake up in the morning pretty energized because I know the team does great work and I know it's only the tip of the iceberg. I know we are going to continue to do great work and we have so many things ahead of us to be able to make that more efficient and more effective that it's almost overwhelming in a positive way to think about how much we can get done if we have the right focus and we can have the bandwidth to be able to do so.
How long have you been working there now? We're filming this just because we're going to release this probably a little bit, a couple of weeks, but so it's February 7th right now. So how many months?
So
weeks?
this is 4 months. I joined in October.
4 months. Okay. All right. So you don't really qualify for our first 100 days, but that's okay. We're making an exception.
You know what? If we actually did the days, it was the middle of October. I bet we're really close.
We're really close.
I'm going to say we're
yeah.
margin of error.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. So a couple things. There are a lot of people that are looking for work. Sadly, right? It's getting better. It's still not good. I actually, in particular, know which makes sense because it's like a pyramid, like of opportunities. I know a lot of folks that are at your level, maybe just slightly less tenured, and that's really tough to find a job, right? Because obviously there's less opportunities when you're talking about director, VP, CCO, et cetera. How'd you get this one? Now, clearly you have the perfect background because your background is all in like financial service SaaS, right? For like however many years. But practically, what was your process of getting this job? Because I know there's a lot of folks out there that are listening that don't have a job or are looking to switch.
Yeah, I was fortunate. I had started working when I left my previous job. I really did want to change. I wanted to look at something that maybe was not financial services. I've been doing it for a while. I took a mini break, then went right back into it. And I was looking for opportunities that might have taken me outside of that. But I also have to recognize, as you said, in this kind of market, you can have every qualification to lead a team. But there are a lot of people who do that and who also have market or workflow experience, right? So it's very hard to be able to switch unless you either have great connection with somebody who knows what you can do and is willing to, I don't want to say overlook because that's not really the right word, but is willing to say, hey, look, I trust your experience in customer facing roles, and that is more important to me than having market or workflow expertise.
Yep.
So in this case, I had been working with somebody who was encouraging me to look at other things. And one day he called me up and said, look, I know you said this isn't really what you want to do anymore, or what you're thinking of making a change, but this is a really great opportunity. I really think it matches. At least talk to these guys and see what you can find out.
Yeah.
So I did, and I really, really hit it off with the leadership team. But I also recognized again those two things that were compelling to me. Great team, experienced team, need some help to understand the vision of what customer experience and customer success, customer support can be. And we are in a growth mode where we really need to be able to develop the process and structure so that we can grow and scale and still maintain the same level of exceptional experience that we have right now. The more and more I learned, the more I realized, okay, A, this is a great opportunity. B, even if my experience is related or not, the other parts of the job that I really like, this is going to give me those two opportunities. And at the time, I was talking to a couple of other firms that were either in adjacent or slightly different spaces. And one of them in particular, I felt, and this sounds so disingenuous because I know, as you said, there are a lot of people who are looking for roles. I almost felt as though I would have been bored. It was a great team, really experienced, been in SaaS for a long time. They had a good leader. The leader just went on to go, to move to another role. And I suggested a whole bunch of things that I would want to do. And they're like, yeah, we do that. Or we have a team that does that. Or we've already done that. And I even asked at one point, okay, so what do you need me for? They're like, well, we need you to continue on what we're doing. And I thought, that sounds great. And maybe that wouldn't be so bad at some points, but I don't know if I would be as excited about that as I am about this opportunity. So
what excites you, if you think back to your first 100 days that you're now rounding out, what were, going to combine two things. What were your top priorities in those months / excited you the most?
So the top priorities were, I think whenever you join a new team, there's always a hidden priority. It's not going to be in your 30, 60, 90-day plan. You may not even articulate it, but one of it is just, how does this company work, right? What's the culture? How do I navigate the company? Who do I need to know? Who do I need to engage with that isn't necessarily in the org chart or isn't necessarily something that you would learn as part of your onboarding? companies just have their own way, and you need to learn that. So I've always tried to make that a priority. And fortunately, we are small. It wasn't super difficult to be able to do that because I have a great team and a great bunch of people that I work with. So they made that part easy, but it's still something that you need to focus on whenever you join a new company. Second, of course, is where is the team now and what is their appetite for change? Are they open? Are they willing to change? Do they even see the need to change? And again,
how do you assess that?
I think you have to assess it. It's one of these things where it would be great if you could assess it from a quantitative perspective, right? But you can't. You have to. The only way you can really do that is by having conversations, throwing a few ideas out here and there, suggesting some things that you very well may know you want to do, but you don't necessarily want to impose it on the team. It's more about, let's talk about it. Let's get some buy-in as we go. And then it will organically become a team goal as opposed to a me goal, right? A new guy coming in and saying we should or should not do this. That's always how I've tried to operate. And I again, don't want people to think, especially my team, because I am very transparent with them, that this is like some nefarious plot. That's just the way I try to do things, right? I suggest, I talk, I ask for feedback, and it starts to change from we're going to do this because this new person came in and said we should do this to we're going to do this because we as a team think this is the right thing that we should do. And that helps with both change management, but it also helps because one thing I tell my team whenever I join, whether it's I'm leading a team of directors, managers, a 200-person organization, or a small team of 10 individual contributors, I'm going to tell you a lot of things about what I think we should do. If at some point you hear me say something or you hear me make a suggestion and your immediate reaction is, wow, that is literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That may be great at some other place, but that is not going to work here. Fantastic. Tell me that. Tell me that in an open way. Tell me that with the idea that you will explain why you think it's not a good idea and what you would do differently. And then we can move on, as opposed to, I tell you, this is what I'd like to do. You have that same inner monologue. That's a really dumb idea. You do it anyway. And then afterwards, when it doesn't work out, you kind of give me well, I told you, I didn't really think that's a good idea. I told you so. Or even worse, you leave and then you talk to Jenny and say, Jenny, can you believe you said that? That's seriously one of the stupidest ideas I've ever heard. I can't believe we're going to go down this road, right? I would much rather you tell me. I don't have ego in that.
So Jenny, I want to jump over to you now on this because you're also a professional coach, an executive coach, leadership coach, and a really, 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 really good one. And so you've got somebody like Larry who comes in and he's got years under his belt. I'm not calling you old, Larry, but you're slightly. And he's led teams. I mean, you've led teams of you've led like a 200-person team in the past, right? And you've got these amazing logos and all this kind of stuff. And so you're like, yeah, anything goes. Tell me whatever's on your mind. 27-year-old, 3 years of experience, CSM. Bullshit. Like, you're intimidating, right? Now, you're not actually intimidating, but that to somebody that's at this, what you guys are like 60, 50, 60, 70 people at the company at your scale? Yeah.
Yeah. We're under 100.
Okay. So so that how do you actually, Jenny, the question's actually for you. How does Larry create this genuine environment? I know that his intentions are there. How does he actually create that environment where his team is not afraid to speak up and to push back and to jostle in good ways? Hey everybody, it's Josh. I'm taking a quick break from the podcast to tell you a bit about UpdateAI. I started UpdateAI to solve two major challenges for CS teams. The first is that we save CSMs 4 to 5 hours per week with our productivity through AI. Secondly, we give leaders a window into all the conversations across each account and the entire portfolio. So we help knowledge transfer, we help increase the coverage model of your CS teams, And we help you detect emerging patterns in what your customers are telling your CSMs across all the risks, product feedback, advocacy moments, and expansion opportunities. So come check us out at www.updateai. It's completely free to sign up and trial. So that, like, how do you actually, Jenny, the question's actually for you, how does Larry create this genuine environment? I know that his intentions are there. How does he actually create that environment where his team is not afraid to speak up and to push back and to jostle in good ways?
Yeah. Love it. I think what I'm hearing from Larry that's awesome is you're creating buy-in. And buy-in facilitates and brokers trust. And trust, different people build trust in different ways, but if you say something happens and you come through as promised, right? That sets the foundational elements of trust. And so early, you can come in, give your entire monologue about how it's going to be different. And you want people to tell us, hey, Larry, that's a stupid idea. They're not going to say, Larry, that's a stupid idea, at Josh's point. What I think is interesting is you've created the environment and held the conversations to have one-on-one dialogue to learn what's going well, what's not going well, what should we start. Basically, start, stop, continue is what I heard. You didn't say it, but some kind of exercise like that to open up the dialogue. Start, stop, continue?
Never heard of it, actually. I'm not being facetious.
Seriously?
Wait, no, I swear to God.
Like, what do we do right now? You essentially assess all your process or lack of process and say, what should we continue to do? What should we keep? What should we do that we currently don't do? So that's the start. And then stop. What are the things that we know are just not good that we need to stop doing? And Jenny and I have talked about this before. The stop is always the hardest because particularly in customer success, a lot of the stop are things that the reason why you're doing it is because nobody else is doing it. And if you stop doing it, that basically means no one will do it, which means most of the time it's the customer that suffers. And I had, everything is not always amazing, but I did have a stop, start, continue-esque conversation with my team just yesterday where we even said, look, we know we shouldn't be doing this.
No, what is this? What is this?
Let's put it this way. It's a common go-to-market SaaS company problem, right? Where something falls in between, which means it usually falls to the client experience, client success team. And the team has said, we know we're not supposed to do this. However, if we don't, the other team is not going to, and our clients are going to suffer. So basically, the ask was, we need you to fix it. And my response was, yes, I've already identified that as something we need to fix. However, we have to do a few other things first. And if we want to get this done, and if we want to be able to make a compelling case, we have to make a compelling case. And the way you make a compelling case at any SaaS company is you quantify it, you figure out what the return on investment is, and you come up with a solution. Because if you miss any one of those three, you're usually not going to be able to be successful.
How do you stay on top of all the promises that you're making early? Like I hear a lot of, like even this example, right?
Question.
Like we've got other things to do first. We'll get to it. How do you make sure, I as a leader, I've had things that I've said that about and they fall off because other things come up. How do you follow through?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think whether this was your intent or not, it's very much related to the question that Josh asked you, right? Which is, how do you build that trust? Because yes, if I say, you guys are totally right, that's something that we need to work on. And now I've done 10 things where I've agreed and said, yes, we need to work on them. And I come through on one, well, I'm probably not going to have a lot of trust. So the way I do it is when I first start, try to come up with a nascent 30, 60, 90-day plan. I've always sort of been a little skeptical of them because they're kind of unrealistic. And I've always found that many times people forget about them. Like you don't really get held accountable for them because it's still your first 90 days or 100 days. Maybe we should change it to a 33, 66, and 100 day. Josh, maybe you could start that trend. So I use that though as a way of sort of outlining projects. And the way that I've done it here, and I've done this in the past, but I feel like I've done a better job here, is I've said, these are our first priorities. And these are also going to be part of our OKRs as a team. These are our secondary priorities, meaning we know we want to do this, but if I say we're going to do it now, we're not going to be able to do any of them. So we're not going to do them. We just know. And then these are the wish list ones. These are the ones that we would like to do, but I'm not going to promise we're going to do them. And I'm not going to even commit that we're going to look into doing them until at least that first group, the ones that I say we're going to do and are part of our OKRs, are going to be done.
Where do you memorialize those and communicate those?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So,
because like I want real golden nuggets that somebody listening to this podcast can be like.
It's just like when you're grooming the product backlog, Josh.
So you have a Notion page.
I don't know.
Yeah. So no, we
do you?
No, we do not have Notion. And I was going to admit, I have tried using lots of different tools to be able to do this, and I always find they work for a little while and then they don't. And that partially the reason they don't is because it's hard to maintain. So
Jenny, he's going to Post-its, by the way. This is where this is leading. Post-its.
Yeah, I am. No, I put them into PowerPoint. And the reason I did that was because it made it easier to consume. Then I translated them into OKRs. We have a system that uses our OKRs and I put them in. But I'll tell you right now, like the OKR system that we have is really bad at doing a couple things. It's great for posting OKRs. It's really bad at measuring OKRs.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising.
You know what? I realized I said that, and folks in my company are going to listen, and they're going to go, I can't believe you just trashed one of our things.
Opportunity for improvement. Put it on the 30, 366, 100 day
plan.
Yeah, exactly. But there probably is something out there that does a really good job of measuring all these things and tracking them. I just haven't found it yet. I've seen people do it in Google Sheets and Excel too, right? It's just another way of doing it. So
I want to talk about some of the surprises you encountered in your first couple of months. And I have a feeling if I ask you a pleasant surprise, you're going to tell me your team. Which leader wouldn't? But you've already inferred that. So is it your team? If yes, then let's move to the bad surprises.
I'll give you two pleasant surprises.
Okay.
One pleasant surprise, one, yes, team. But I always feel like saying that is unintentionally pejorative. Like, it's not like I thought the team wasn't going to be good and I was pleasantly surprised that they're awesome. I kind of I assumed that they were going to be amazing, and they are. And that also sounds like hyperbole. Like, of course, any person coming in thinks their team is awesome, or hopefully thinks their team is awesome. But Jenny's shaking her head already. Yeah,
I've walked into a situation where the team was not awesome, and I knew they were not awesome, and the first thing I had to do was figure out where they go. So.
Okay,
don't talk about UpdateAI like that.
I've been lucky.
Fired, Josh. Fired.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate that is not the case, and it's certainly not the case here. I was surprised by how deep some of the relationships that we have with our clients are. And I'll give you,
I love that.
And the reason why, again, I don't know why I was surprised. I think I might have been jaded a little bit from previous experiences, but there is a very, very unique way that we engage with our clients. And so we are many times speaking with them multiple times a day and week. And we just happen to have a client event. And I've been to client events before. You can tell the vibe, right? Sometimes the vibe is, I'm just coming here for free booze. Sometimes the vibe is, I'm coming here because I want to see something or I want to say something. And sometimes the vibe is, I'm coming here because I really feel like I want to meet some of the people I engage with all the time in person, or I want to see them again. And that was the vibe that we had at our recent client event. Again, like I tease my team about this, but it's true. Some of them were literally treated like rock stars. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe it's you. Like, I'm so glad to meet you in person. Clients saying this to the team. It was really, really gratifying. So I don't want to say I was surprised, but it was just fantastic to see. So now you're going to ask me.
Wait, Jenny, I think you and I had that experience when we first met, right? Because you were a customer of UpdateAI. And then we first met, it wasn't, we were not at Pulse.
It was at the CCO workshop in San Francisco.
Oh, that's right.
That's the first time we met in person.
And were you already a customer or not? You might not have been.
Yeah.
I feel like we had that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
you were super excited to see Jenny because she's a rock star?
She was super excited to see me.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Of course.
Yeah. No, we were vibing. We always vibe. Yeah. So what's the tummy rumbles? What's the tummy rumbles that you didn't expect?
So the thing that I didn't expect is we have as I said, a great engagement strategy with our clients. It really works well. It's definitely not scalable, and we're working on that, but it really works well. The thing that I was a little surprised about is I would sometimes ask, and still do, members of my team, how do you manage this? Like, how do you do this? And the answer is usually, we just do. And of course, my response is, okay, but what happens if you aren't here and you're now leading a team of 5 people who don't have it? How are we going to do that? And the response is something along the lines of, well, I'll show them. And the great part about those conversations is, as we're having that conversation, the realization starts to dawn, okay, no, that you're right, that's not going to work. And so the part that's surprising is we do have these exceptional relationships, as I've said, and yet there are things that I know, and the team knows, and the company knows, we need to be doing differently and better, because we have to have more structure and more process to it. And we can't rely on the fact that we have great individuals doing extraordinary things. That's not going to scale. And I guess another part of that surprise is the way that they do it without having some of the tools and technology that, we might think are fairly commonplace is pretty impressive, right? So those are some of the priorities that we have. Is we are moving away from that. We are adding more process. We are adding more tools to their, so that they can engage even more effectively. So it's a good problem to have, because if the company was resistant, which they're certainly not, I mean, that's part of the reason why they asked me to join, that would be one thing. But the fact that they recognize it and we just have to execute on it, that's a good place to be.
Sounds like a great decision to join. Sounds like I get the vibe that it's, Yeah,
it really was. I mean, I came home late because of an event that we had yesterday, and my wife, Karina, asked me, like, oh, how's it going? I said, it's really going amazing. Like, I don't have days where I think to myself, oh God, this is a really rough day. I think to myself most of the time, this is a great day. It could have been better because I wish I had gotten this done, but it was still a pretty great day. And if you can have those more days than not, you've made the right decision. I have them almost every single day, which is pretty awesome. Am I tired at the end of the week? Yeah, but it's a good tired. And it's the I'm tired because I know we accomplished stuff and we still have a lot to do, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Not that I'm tired because I have 87 unread Slack messages from Josh tired, right?
No, because we don't have Slack. We have Google Chat. But there are times when I get overwhelmed. I mean, one of the things that we do is there's a lot of work that we do that has an email that goes to the entire team, which we are working to make more efficient. But yes, there can be days when I will step away and come back to 100 emails. Not everyone that I necessarily need to action, but probably has some information that is going to help me in my own journey, learning more about the team and our clients and what we do. So yes, that can be overwhelming.
When do you think your learning journey ends? Like when is your we're in the first 100 days.
That's a trick question, because you know that the answer that you're looking for is never. It's a continuous lifelong cycle.
No, but when do you shift out of, okay, you have the phases of joining a new organization, you're stepping into this role, you're identifying the priorities, you're setting the OKRs, the targets, you get to know the people. When do you move from learning phase to truly executing and running the show? When does that shift happen for you?
I would say that happened relatively quickly. But they're not distinct phases, they're parallel. So yes, Josh is right. The learning phase is never going to end, particularly because there are specific things that I need to know about our clients and about our workflow that I just don't know. So that will never change. And this is a pretty dynamic but rapidly changing part of the capital markets, because there are some changes coming from a regulatory perspective and from a process perspective, but also because there are huge swaths of the market that are not digitized or electronic trading yet. So that part's never going to end for me, or at least it won't end until, I've quite some time. But the execution, we are starting to execute on a lot of the plans that we have. And you guys know it's the same thing, right? When you're at a smaller company, a startup or a scale up, execution can be exciting because it's easier to execute change when you have a smaller company, right? If you have a 5,000 person company, change is harder because you have to get through so many different hurdles and approvals to get something done. Some of the stuff that we do, my team says, hey, can we do this? And I do it and it's ready in 5 minutes, right? That's great. It also means that we are doing and executing a lot of this on our own, meaning me and my team, right? We don't have a support team to be able to help us. We don't have an operations team to help us, right? We don't have some of the things that you might have at bigger companies. It's us, which means that the team, in addition to their day job, which is long, they might be on multiple different teams for projects that we need to do to continue to build out our client experience motion. And that's a lot because, again, we don't have somebody who's just going to go, okay, I've taken all your feedback. Here's what we're going to do now. You guys just tell me if it's going to work. No, they're building it, testing it, executing it, iterating it while still doing their day job at the same time. So it's a lot. And I'm grateful that they're so accepting of that and doing it so effectively.
Larry, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the new role. Sounds like a great company, great fit, great opportunity. And I'd love to have you back on, and we'll see, later in the year, maybe how those priorities are going and how things have evolved.
I'm looking forward to that. And I will not play with anything as I'm talking.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's, I know.
Can we schedule it when the Florida sun is not hitting my face all the time?
We didn't notice that.
You didn't?
No,
the little glimmer glow?
No, you're good. Okay. You're good.
I noticed it.
A little bit.
Okay.
Before we close out, do we want to put any bets on the game?
Well, we'd all be in trouble if we didn't put bets on KC with our Kansas City.
No.
There's no way that I would be rooting for the Eagles.
Really?
No. A, unfortunately for me, I'm a Giants fan. And B, I have lots of friends who are Eagles fans, and I don't want them to be gloating. I want to make fun of them on Sunday night. Yeah.
It'll be KC.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks,
y'all.
guys.